I agree. It's the best penalty taker in the world, I think.
Ivan Toney's penalty against Fulham gives him a perfect 10 out of 10 record from the spot in the Premier League. Only Yaya Toure, who scored all 11 spot kick attempts for Manchester City, boasts a better 100% conversion rate in the competition's history. And when you take into account Toney's career record of 28 penalties taken, 27 scored, the Brentford centre-forward is in a class of his own. Here's a list of Toney's 10 penalties scored in the Premier League. As you can see, it's a wide range of opponents and goalkeepers. Jose Sarr has been one of the best goalkeepers in the league for the past few seasons. Jordan Pickford is an England international. Tim Krul is a fringe-level Premier League keeper. Nick Pope, who Toney has scored twice against on separate occasions, has been one of the best goalkeepers in the league this season. Ilan Meslier is one of the best young keepers in Europe. Roberto Sanchez has been very solid for Brighton. Neto is a solid shot stopper, and Bernard Leno has been brilliant for Fulham this season. The point is, Toney's penalty record is legit. He's dispatching penalties against some very good goalkeepers. For today's video, I've rewatched all 10 Premier League penalties to analyse how Toney has become the master from 12 yards out. Before playing in the Premier League, Toney would stand much further back on his penalties. Notice how long the run-up is here, keeping his eyes fixated on the ball rather than the keeper. It was this miss for Toney, the only miss of his career, a saved attempt for Peterborough United back in October 2018. That was the catalyst for a technique alteration. After this miss, he changed his style and hasn't looked back since. Toney's first Premier League penalty came in a 2-0 win over Wolves on the 18th of September 2021. It's that cool as ice demeanour, the two steps that almost seem to happen in slow motion, that have come to define Toney's penalties. Here, he waits for Sarr to commit, and then bang, the perfect penalty, striking it in the opposite corner. The short step up gives Toney the advantage of keeping the goalie guessing. He can wait to that last millisecond to shoot. This penalty against Everton in a 1-0 Brentford win is a perfect example of what makes Toney so good from the spot. Pickford knows Toney's style at this point. He knows what he's going to do, so he stays on his feet, playing a game with Toney, saying, okay, I'm not going to go until you go. But it's just that one slight step to the left from Pickford which gives Toney the opening he needs, and the ball is placed perfectly in the opposite corner. The next two pens came in the same game against Tim Krul. The first penalty is classic Toney. Eyes are laser focused in front of him, the technique. The now trademark move, the right foot steps forward, he brings the left foot level with the ball, then the power with his right foot to place it perfectly into the corner of the net. Krul goes the wrong way. The next penalty in the same game is now fascinating. It's a game of chess between Krul and Toney. Again, it's the exact same technique. This time, Krul keeps his feet grounded and dives the right way. This is one of two penalties Toney scored past Nick Pope in different games. Here, like Krul, Pope dives the right way, but the accuracy, the power, the unpredictability make it unstoppable. You know the drill by now. Eyes in front, the short step up, the powerful shot. Again, just look at Melia's body here. His stance is ever so slightly pointed to the right, making the pen easy work for Toney. Here's that second penalty against Nick Pope, now playing for Newcastle. Again, all in the eyes here for Toney. The ball doesn't move, that's something he said himself. It's just a case of keeping your coolness, your calmness, and your composure. Here, Sanchez commits early, and if you're in goal facing Toney, to have any chance of saving his penalty, you have to be patient before committing to a side. Toney is an instinctive penalty taker. He will punish goalkeepers that go early. The next victim of the Ivan Toney special, Neto. 2 steps, pace, accuracy, inevitable. And Toney's most recent masterclass, coming against Fulham and Bernard Leno. Part of what Toney has done with his penalties and the record he now has, he's put fear into goalkeepers' minds before he's even taken the penalty. They know the scouting report, they've studied the technique, they've rewatched the footage, they've seen the charts, and it makes no difference whatsoever. Toney is already in their heads. Here's what he said himself in an interview on Sky when asked about his process for penalties. Simple, but effective. Of course, Ivan Toney is far more than just a prolific penalty taker. The best penalty taker in the world. It's hard to argue with that. But he's also an all-round centre forward, capable of holding up the ball and linking the play. He's good with his head, physically strong, athletic, and unafraid of the moment. After Harry Kane, Toney has a strong argument to be England's second best centre forward. If he weren't facing the possibility of maybe the biggest ban in football history for breaching the betting rules, he would undoubtedly be on many of European elite's shortlists this summer.